You take two charts and you ask yourself this question. First of all, you would think automatically that fire and air get along. This is a short version of how you look at, it's called synastry. I think it's so funny. It's called synastry. Is it synastry or synastry? Synastry. How do two charts get along? What's the nature of one chart to the other? We're going to do some examples today. But you would think immediately that a fire sign gets along with a fire sign, because why do you know that? As beginners, you know that's called a trine. So if you put an Aries in a room with a Sag, or an Aries in a room with a Leo, you're going to have a lot of energy. If you put a Gemini in a room with Aquarius, you're going to have a lot of energy. If you put a Cancer in a room with a Scorpio, you're going to have a lot of cuddling. So the first thing you want to pay attention to, of course, is compatibility is the same element. And there are some signs who are the same signs that really get along well with each other. Leos often love each other. Geminis really love each other. Aquarians find each other fascinating. Aries have a hard time together. Tauruses have a hard time together. Scorpios can have, Scorpios actually like themselves, but they really like Aries, even though they're fire and water. So I'm going to tell you what's compatible, but here's what I want you to know. Cupid has bad eyesight. She doesn't know. When the arrow gets pulled back and you're told that you're in love with somebody and you feel that chemistry go off, and off goes all those energies that you can't explain, and your heart starts pitter-pattering, you can't believe how much Cupid could care less about astrology. So Cupid is not looking at your chart. Cupid is following the karmic role of who you're supposed to be with. And by the way, I would say at least 50% of all relationships are karmic, in that you've known them before and they're coming to teach you something, and especially your first and second husband. And the other half of the relationships could be brand spanking new and or clean karma, not difficult, and you meet someone and you immediately get along and it's effortless. And we know those people. When you meet someone, you go, wow, we are so good together. It's so easy. We don't bump. And when we do bump, we communicate so well. Versus we got along so well to start with. We were so attractive. But then once we started working it out, I wanted to change you and you wanted to change me. And by the way, women, we go into relationships wanting to change men, which is the single wrong thing to do because it's impossible. I bet you noticed that. So Cupid doesn't like astrology. She's terrible at it. She's not interested in whether or not you're going to stay in a long-term relationship or short-term. She's just interested in the magic of the moment and the karma being met. So what is clear, however, once the Cupid's finished her bow and arrow, is, will this sustain? And here are some of the criteria that makes relationships sustain. Opposites attract to start with, and they don't often get along in the long run. Why? Because if you're earth and or water and you're calm and grounded, and you see a fire or air person who's totally turning you on and so entertaining and so fun, to start with, it's like a magnet. The earth longs to have the air around to make them talk. The earth longs to have the fire around to get them motivated. But after a while, the earth is saying to the air, where did you put your keys? And why are you talking all the time? Same is true with water and air and fire. So the elements attract to start with, but then there's the disagreement once you see long view, because we always, to tell the truth, the people you're closest to really get who you are and they have the same interests as you. So astrology is similarities get along, opposites attract, but have a hard time maintaining their connection.